From the News Channel 5 network, this is SportsLine.
Good evening, Nashville, and welcome to SportsLine. John Burton with you for the next hour. 737-7767 is the number to call. We'll be talking sports up until the top of the next hour. And we got a lot to get into tonight. Obviously, March Madness underway. We're checking the NIT score right now. Belmont, just seconds left in the second half. Looks like they're going to lose at Georgia in the first round of the NIT. So it looks like the Bruins season will come to an end. They will be one and done in the National Invitation Tournament. Of course, Vanderbilt losing last night in their play-in game against Wichita State. We will hear from Kevin Stallings and crew later on in the show. Also, Adam Sparks, who covers Vanderbilt athletics for the Tennessean, is going to join us tonight as well. What exactly is the future for the Vandy men's basketball program and their head coach, Kevin Stallings? If you want to weigh in on that, you're more than welcome to. You can also tweet me at NC5_John Burton. That's at NC5_John Burton. Again, the number 737-7767. Kevin Stallings, Vandy fans, do you want him back as Vandy men's basketball coach? Interesting year for the Commodores, obviously. Preseason ranked in the top 25. A major struggle early in the year, especially when they got into early SEC play. But they turned it on towards the end. The big home win over Kentucky looked like they had some momentum heading into the SEC tournament. One of the favorites to win that tournament. And of course, they lose their first game against Tennessee, a Tennessee team without their leading scorer, Kevin Punter. So if you want to weigh in on that, you certainly can. Also, have you filled your brackets out? Who do you have cutting down the nets at the end of the NCAA basketball tournament? I know there's a lot of Kentucky Wildcat fans out there, and I got to tell you, I will never be confused for a Cats fan, but I think they've got some great momentum heading into March Madness. They're playing really well right now, coming off the SEC tournament win. And John Calipari, a little hot under the collar after only, in his mind, getting a 4 seed and seated where he's seated in the bracket where he is. I think the Wildcats are going to come out with a whole lot of steam, a whole lot of momentum, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them get back to the Final Four. But I think it's either Kansas, North Carolina, or the aforementioned Kentucky Wildcats. Perhaps you feel differently. Is there a team out there that you think is the hot team going into the NCAA tournament, which all gets underway in earnest tomorrow? Obviously, the play-in games last night and tonight. So we have the formal field being set for Thursday through the weekend. A lot of the games you can see, obviously, right here on News Channel 5. Coverage begins tomorrow at 11 a.m. So your thoughts on the NCAA tournament, your thoughts on, the Vanderbilt men's basketball team and their head coach, Kevin Stallings. What should be the future there? That's on the table for you as well. And since we really haven't here on the Wednesday extravaganza known as SportsLine with yours truly, JB, we really haven't gotten into a whole lot of NFL draft talk. And I want to know where you're at, Titans fans. Do you stay at 1 and take Laramie Tunsil, the offensive tackle out of Auburn, which I think they should do? Or do you maybe take a Jalen Ramsey? Everybody around here familiar with him. Him going to Brett. Of course, he went to Brentwood Academy, had a great combine. He has all the measurables. Do you take Jalen Ramsey? Do you trade down? What exactly would you do if you're the Tennessee Titans at the #1 overall pick? I think they should stay at 1 and take Laramie Tunsil. I like what the Titans have done so far this offseason. You know, picking up a guy like DeMarco Murray, a potential workhorse running back to run behind it, hopefully an improved offensive line, take some pressure off Marcus Mariota. Your thoughts on that are welcome as well, as the NFL draft will be here before you know it. Also, we may get into some Preds talk. Another successful road trip for the Nashville Predators. They're back home tomorrow night against the New York Islanders. How confident are you, Preds fans, going into the playoffs, assuming they make it there? And it looks like they will. They are the top wild card team in the Western Conference, and it looks like, barring any unforeseen catastrophes, they will get back into the postseason. How far can they go? Can they make the Western Conference Finals? Can they get to the Stanley Cup Finals? Would you be happy with just a series win, a one and done, if you will? Your thoughts on the Predators are welcome as well. Before we get into anything else, I want to tell you about something really cool involving March Madness and everything here at News Channel 5 and News Channel 5 Plus. Do you think you picked your perfect bracket? Have you picked your bracket yet? Is it perfect? Prove it, and you have the chance to win $101,000. Send your bracket to bartdurham.com. That's bartdurham.com. You pick them all, you win. Check it out.
Tell us about the bracket challenge.
So the Bart Durham Injury Law Bracket Challenge, if you go to bartdurham.com, you can register, and if you pick the first 2 rounds perfectly, we're going to give you $101,000.
I noticed that it said prizes from $500 to $101,000. Tell me about the different levels of prizes.
Well, the only someone that picks the first 2 rounds perfectly gets the $101,000, but the overall winner in our bracket challenge will at least walk away with $500.
Why is your office doing this?
Well, you know, we want our most recent ads, we want to show that we are Nashvillians and that we're not stuffy attorneys. And, you know, we go to Preds games, we go to Titans games, we go to Sounds games, and we want to connect with the Nashville community in this way, because who doesn't love March Madness? If you go to bartdurham.com, you can register. There's a big graphic and you just follow the links and sign up and register, and if you pick them all, you win.
All right, there you have it. Thanks to the fine folks at Bart Durham Injury Law. For more information, you can go to bartdurham.com. It's the $101,000 NCAA Bracket Challenge, sponsored by our good friends at Bart Durham Injury Law. So there you have it. If you missed any part of that, we will repeat that for you later on in the show. Again, don't forget, Adam Sparks from the Tennessean will join us. We'll talk about Vandy men's basketball as well as Vandy baseball, and get an update perhaps on Vandy spring football. So a lot to get to tonight. Right now, we're going to take our first call. One of the biggest Vanderbilt fans that I know, David, is on line 1, or he was. David, you there? Guess David's not there. Maybe he is there. David? David, are you there? All right. We'll get back to David in just a second. Meantime, as we said, why don't we do this? Obviously, one of the hot stories is what happened to Vanderbilt last night, losing their NCAA tournament play-in game in Dayton last night, losing to Wichita State. This game was tied 30-30 at the half. But the Commodores outscored by 20 in the second half, 40-20. They lose by 20, 70-50. Let's take a look at last night's post-game press conference as the Commodores lose to the Wheat Shockers.
We congratulate Wichita State. It's a hard-fought game, and I think that the story of the game, and I just heard some of Gregg's comments, where they were able to make shots and we weren't. We shoot it poorly from 2, we shoot it poorly from 3, and we shoot it poorly from the foul line. Generally, we're a pretty good shooting team, and these 2 guys made shots for us. I thought both of them played very, very well. I thought our bench was a real bright spot for us tonight, and but we're not going to win many games when we don't get a little more production from guys that we depend on and that have carried us all season long. So we're very disappointed to lose, but I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of their effort, and wish the night could have gone a little bit better. We kind of had it where we needed it. They made a spurt there at the start of the second half. We came out and just had 3 bad plays in a row, and one bad on offense and then 2 bad on defense, and that gave them a spurt. And then we got back into the game. We're shooting a 1-on-1, missed that, and then they made a little run, and that was the game.
Questions for Riley and Joe only right now here in the aisle.
Adam Sparks of Tennessee. And Riley, was there a sense, as good of a shooting team as they are and you guys are as well, that after that first half, eventually one of the 2 teams would shoot it well in the second half? There would be a hot streak one way or the other?
Yeah, we knew somebody was gonna, eventually make shots, and we were confident that it was gonna be us with the, the amount of shooters we have on our team. But unfortunately, it wasn't.
Here in front on the left. For either Riley or Joe, I mean, you guys shot the ball all right, but for the most part, as Coach said, the team didn't. Did you think that was more about their defense or more about you guys just missing shots?
Riley, can you answer that, please?
They're a very good defensive team, and they play really physical. And we did get some good looks, some open looks that didn't happen to fall. And I think it was a combination of both.
Here on the end.
Joe, what was working for you? You came in off the bench and you gave guys a little spark there in the first half. What was working for you?
I just tried to give my team a little bit of energy. My shots were going in, so it was a good first half. We just didn't finish it out well.
Here in the front.
After you guys gave up that 11-0 run to start the second half, you guys went on a 17-5 run. What started clicking for you guys?
Joe.
We were just really together as a team. Everybody was cheering each other on. So I think the energy from the bench and everybody in the court we played well together in that spurt and just couldn't finish it up.
All right, that's some of Vanderbilt's press conference from last night after losing to Wichita State in the NCAA tournament play-in game in Dayton, Ohio last night. I think we have the phone issue squared away. Our buddy David's on line 3. David, good evening.
Hey.
I know you're a huge Vanderbilt fan. Kevin Stallings, stay or go.
That was one night, I talk a lot about Pistol Pete and everything. That's one night when we could have used him. But I really think that we should get rid of Stallings.
Okay, why?
Because, when ESPN brought it up a couple of years ago where, they're having such a hard time going through the NCAAs. And it may maybe change. You get them away from Memorial Gym, and it seems like everything falls flat on their face. I don't know if it's pressure. I don't know if it's nerves. It's something you can't put your finger on.
Well, David, one of the disturbing, maybe not disturbing things, but maybe one of the eyebrow-raising things that Kevin Stallings has pretty much said all year about his team, he basically says, I don't know where my team's head is at. I don't know which team is going to show up. And right before the SEC tournament, he said, I don't know where my team's mindset is at. And quite frankly, I stopped caring. I don't know if that's a good sign if you're a head coach.
Yeah,
I believe it's, hold on, David. I believe it's your job as the head coach to build that mindset, to build that culture, that attitude. Obviously, this was a talented team. They're preseason ranked in the top 25. They had an opportunity to maybe make some noise in the NCAA tournament, perhaps get to the Sweet 16. But it didn't look like Damian Jones at times was too motivated to play. Riley LaChance obviously was very inconsistent. Wade Baldwin, obviously, from a confidence factor, he showed a lot of leadership, but I don't know if that leadership trickled down to his teammates. So there was just a lot of pieces for this team this year that didn't quite fit.
Well, you're right about that. But it's like I brought it up the other night. Vandy, it surprised me when they got in the NCAAs.
All right, well, listen, David, here's the thing. I mean, anybody that calls up and says, I want to get rid of a coach, that's fine. And if that's your opinion and that's what you believe, that's fine. But to be fair, I have to ask you, if Kevin Stallings goes, who do you want? Who replaces him?
That's a good question. If I had a good answer, me, I'd bring it up. But, it's like, not to take up a lot of time and everything.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I'm tickled they got in the NCAAs. But it seemed like they were saying something about maybe Georgia should have got in instead of Vanderbilt. But it seems like they would have gone farther if they could have gotten the NIT.
Well, I mean, that's hard to say right now. Georgia had all they could handle at home against Belmont.
And that's history.
They hang on to win, but I don't know if you could see. I never like to get into this. Well, this team should have been in over this team because you don't know how each team's going to react in each situation as you go through the tournament.
They could come out colder than a cucumber, or they could come out red hot.
Yeah.
So you never really can tell.
David, have you filled out your brackets? And if so, who do you got winning it all?
Oh, God. To me, it's either Kansas or Kentucky.
Yeah. I got Kansas, North Carolina, or Kentucky. And it's so funny. And thanks for the call, David. We appreciate it. It's so funny how, every year people get so excited for the tournament, and for good reason. It's great television. It's great reality TV. But everybody says, oh, there's upsets. There's Cinderellas. There isn't. When you get to the Sweet 16, I mean, as I said at the top of the show, one of these three teams, mark it down, will win the tournament this year. Either Kansas, North Carolina, or Kentucky. The Blue Bloods always rise to the top. We had Florida Gulf Coast making a nice run a couple of years ago. That was fun. We all enjoyed that. I'm a Syracuse fan by birth, so seeing them beat Georgetown a couple of years ago was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I trash-talked a lot of my Georgetown fan buddies over that. But, that's the exception that proves the rule. And I think we've come to understand that. It's the blue blood programs, and it's going to be that way probably for the foreseeable future. But it's still a lot of fun. It's 3 great weeks of basketball. The weather's getting nice. It's a great time of year to be a sports fan for sure. All right, let's before we go to break, we're going to check out my man Marty on line 1. Hey, Marty.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. What's happening?
All right. I was going to talk about Vandy. That it played last night. I don't think they played good at all, man, from the start. It was
well, you can't say that. It was tied at the half.
It was tied at the half, but we missed a lot of opportunities there. You know what I'm saying? Foul line, man, you got to hit a foul shot. Mm-hmm. In the NCAA tournament, you got to step up, hit your foul shot. It ain't like Vanderbilt to be missing no foul shots.
You bring a good point, Marty. I mean, they shot 30% from the field for the game, and this is a good shooting team. And for them to not shoot well at the most critical time of the year, that's a telling sign. It's a big reason why they lost this game.
Yeah, they've been inconsistent all year long. They got to get in the heads. The coach can't tell them everything. They got to get in the heads of players. They got to be consistent. They got to be about their business when they step out on their floor, man.
So you blame the players more than the coach?
Yeah, I blame the players. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I only can tell them so much.
Yeah, but when you have a coach saying, "I don't know the mentality of my team and I've stopped caring," does that, as a fan, does that raise your flags a little bit or no?
I didn't never heard him say that. I ain't never heard him say that.
He said, and again, we're going to have Adam Sparks on from the Tennessee, and we're going to dive more into this at the bottom of the hour. But basically, before the SEC tournament, we asked him, he said, what do you think your team's mindset is going into the postseason? He said, I don't know, and I've stopped caring. So I don't know if there's a disconnect between player and coach. I don't know if the players have tuned him out. I don't know if the coach says, you know what, I'm just going to tell them what to do, and if they do it, they do it. If not, hang with them. I don't know where the disconnect is there.
Okay.
But this was a talented team, Marty, and they're preseason top 25, and in many ways I think they underachieved.
Yeah, you're right. They did underachieve.
All right, did you fill out your bracket, Marty, and who do you got winning it all?
Probably Kansas, man.
All right, thanks.
Kansas is going to take it all, probably.
All right, thanks for the call. The one thing about Kansas, though, Bill Self, the further he goes in the tournament, weird things tend to happen to his teams. They don't necessarily play to their potential, but we shall see. It all gets underway for real. Sorry, no disrespect to the teams in the play-in games. It all gets underway for real tomorrow, 11 a.m. right here. Well, actually, over on News Channel 5. Coverage all weekend. It's going to be a blast. Always look forward to the NCAA tournament. Time for our first break. When we come back, more of your phone calls. Who's to blame for Vanderbilt's early exit in the NCAAs? Is it time for Kevin Stallings to go? Do you blame the players? Do you blame the coach? Also, your thoughts on the NFL draft, the Predators, and have you filled out your bracket? Who's going to win it all? We get to all that next, right here on SportsLine.